Hello everyone and welcome to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark and today we have the second episode of a new series, MTG Cubed. In this episode we're going to be talking about why I built a cube, useful resources for cube players, and tips and tricks I picked up while building mine. Hopefully in this episode you'll get to see why cube is such a great format, and for those wanting to build a cube themselves for the very first time, useful resources and tips they may not have considered. There were a few reasons why I decided to build a cube, and I'm very glad I did. Magic for me has always been a casual game. I don't attend Friday Night Magic, but I do enjoy the experience of building a deck and playing against my friends. The downside for me was that I started a lot later than my playgroup, so I was at a disadvantage as we never stuck to a specific format. I didn't want to spend a large amount of money on singles just to build a deck that would be competitive, plus I'd find playing the same deck a little stale. I'd rather spend my money in having more variety in my gameplay. The second reason for building a cube was that I got my girlfriend into the format. We were opening lots of boxes of Magic cards, specifically from Shadows over Innistrad onwards. I managed to build an Investigate deck while she had a Werewolf deck. The problem was one deck was significantly better than the other one, so the games weren't particularly fair. Instead of carrying on by building decks from the cards that we opened, I decided to build a cube for a fairer gameplay. This worked out great. I've managed to be able to teach her how to draft and play sealed, so hopefully in the future we can attend a pre-release together. Thirdly was the expense of cards. I thoroughly enjoy opening up products, especially now I've got the channel, but to be able to afford a competitive deck either for standard or modern, I'd have to invest a considerable sum of money, which I wasn't willing to do. So from all of these situations I wanted to find a format that would allow me to still be excited about new cards coming out, but would produce some fairer gameplay. Cube was the perfect answer. I built it over several months with cards I already had and little extras to make sure it played well, but I still get excited about new cards coming out just to see whether they'll actually make it into my cube. The last reason for building a cube was that if I managed to get one together and play regularly with my friends, we could put our own stamp on the format and have a really personalised experience. Now we get to have fun on an afternoon in a relaxed environment and just enjoy playing Magic. Cube is the perfect format for this, and I can't recommend it enough. cubetutor.com is a fantastic free site that was really helpful for me when I was looking at the cube format and building mine. It enables you to see other examples of cubes that people have built on there, from powered to pauper at all different sizes. The main function of the site is that you can store your own cube on it, so that you'll be able to see a list of cards or, if you prefer, a visual representation of your cube itself. That way, once you have all of your cards on the site, swapping cards will be easier as you'll be able to see which cards of a similar colour and type you have without sorting your shuffled cube. This is a really great time saver. The mana curve view also becomes useful as you can see where each colour is heavily stacked, and if you need to make changes to balance this to make sure your cube plays consistently. For example, if you wanted to make sure red was a lot more aggressive, then you'd be able to see where most of the cards sit in the mana curve and alter it so that the majority sit earlier than later. If you have a card that they uploaded you want to change the classification of, for example, Chain to the Rocks comes in as a white card, but its functionality works as a Boros card, you can easily change this in the edit list page. That way, in the list you have the correct numbers. The analysis page can show you the colour breakdown of your cube to see if it's fair. If not, you'll be able to see quickly where the changes need to be made. If you want to playtest drafting your cube or other players' cubes on this site, you're able to do so. You'll be able to tell, roughly speaking, which cards that would come up in your drafting or sealed pool scenario. Plus, if you manage to get enough people to do this for your cube and save the decks they build, you'll be able to quickly gauge which cards are working in your cube and which aren't. A really helpful aspect for me was to see which cards from sets were the most popular to pick from in all rarities. This will help you to see which kind of cards you should be looking for that will make an impact in your cube. Unfortunately, these aren't first picks in a draft on the site, but rather the number of times they've been picked. This isn't that much of a problem for a new player to see which kind of cards are expected in the format. Plus, it's a benefit for newer sets to see which cards are being picked regularly for you to try out. If from these you decide to add a new card into your cube and you don't know which card to cut, cubetutor gives you a suggested card list from your cube which you can quickly look through and decide. You don't have to choose one there, as there may be another card that you're thinking of, but this does help more often than not. Ben has created a fantastic site that has been invaluable to me in creating mine. If you wanted to help him out and become part of the champion program for the site, I'll leave a link in the description below to all the benefits to doing this. Milo the Gathering, who has unfortunately stopped creating Magic the Gathering videos, is still a great resource for seeing the format in action. His Holiday Cube videos, along with his enthusiasm, really helped my decision to build my own cube. His Noob Cube videos were very insightful on how to build a low budget cube too. Plus, you could see it on cubetutor. To even get a list of all the singles to have a very good cube experience, you could expand on it if you didn't want to make one from scratch. His knowledge will be sorely missed, but he's gone on to create a new YouTube channel for video games called Flock of Nerds. It's definitely worth checking out if, like me, you enjoyed a wide variety of games. A link to both of the channels will be in the description below. The MTG Salvation Cube forums and Reddit MTG Cubed both have lots of members with a wealth of knowledge on the cube format. Everyone I've talked to has been really welcoming and a pleasure to talk to. There are plenty of discussions on cards and help for new players of the format to get feedback on their cubes. It's well worth checking out. The biggest tip I can give you when starting to make your cube is don't worry about it being perfect. Through gameplay with your friends, you get to see which cards work and which cards don't, and from there you can make adjustments to make sure that the gameplay is completely fair and has a better experience for everyone. My second tip for you is making sure that you have a mana base available for aggressive players and mid-range and control decks. Plus having mana rocks in there to make sure everybody can have the chance to play either 2 colours or even 3. I'll go through these in more detail when I go through what is in my cube, but I personally wouldn't play cube without at least 3 sets of dual colour lands, Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse, plus all of the guild signets. There are of course other enablers inside the cube, but these are just for starters. My third tip for you is build what you'd like to play. If you're excited about a project and want to recreate a certain drafting experience, go for it. Whether this is pauper, set specific, powerless or even powered is completely down to you. I thoroughly enjoy looking on cubetutor to see what everybody's been creating and seeing what cards they've decided to put into their cubes. Like I said before, there is no right or wrong type of cube. Next tip for you is don't be afraid to try new cards. There are certainly some which might not be everybody's cup of tea, but that may be down to the type of cube that they've built. If you're excited about a card, give it a try. There's only one way to find out if it works or not, and it may even improve the gameplay. Similar to the tip above, don't be afraid to ask for help, especially if you're new. There are plenty of people either in your playgroup, your community, or even online that'd be more than happy to help, whether this is individual card suggestions or better ways for you to improve the archetype support in your cube. For new players, I would recommend you going and trying a cube out first to make sure you like the playstyle before you end up trying to make one either by yourself or with friends. Your local gaming store may have one or have someone in the community that does have one for you to try out, or you can go on MTGO to play cube there. The biggest positive I have for cube, apart from it being the best format in Magic the Gathering, well, at least in my opinion anyway, is that once you've built it, you have unlimited replayability, which can't be said if you buy 3 booster packs each with your friends. It can develop over time and become something you're really proud of, plus being able to pimp it out with either alterations or foils is always great fun. In the next episode of MTG Cubed, I'll be discussing what is in my cube, starting with the colour white, and the reasons why I picked them. If you wanted to take a look at my cube on cubetutor, I'll put a link in the description below. Feel free to have a look, and if you have any card suggestions, I'll be more than happy to hear them. I don't know every single card in the set, so I may well have missed out something that could be truly great and add to the gameplay of my cube. Do let me know in the comments section below. Also, feel free to add your cubetutor link in the comment section as well. Everybody can have a look at each other's. I'm quite happy to go and have a look at yours. It's always interesting to see what cards you put in, and I'll be happy to draft as well. So if you like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button as well for more content that comes out every Tuesday and Friday. Over the past few weeks, my channel has grown amazingly, and I can't thank you all enough for watching and subscribing. The Cube video last week, for example, boosted my subscriber rating up by another 80, which is fantastic. Hopefully with this one and the future of this series, we can make this channel big. Hopefully you've noticed some picture quality improving with the new camera I've got there. I'm sorry I look absolutely petrified, but I'm so much more used to being the other side of that camera. Hopefully the confidence will improve over the next few months, and I'll get used to this. It'll be like second nature. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.